Have you ever held a crying baby and found yourself wondering, how do I calm her down? Should I rock her, feed her, burp her again? Do I need to change her or put on an extra blanket or take off the blanket? Should I try to put her to sleep or give her a pacifier? Of course, we all know that a big part of parenting is learning how to listen, attune, and respond to all of those needs. But what about those moments when you've checked everything? Your baby's been fed, changed, burped, held, and rocked. Let's say he recently woke up from a good nap and he's still crying. You've taken his temperature, he isn't teething yet. What might the baby be needing then? That's the question I'd like to explore today. Because there is some research that suggests that sometimes babies actually have a need to express themselves by crying and shaking, just like animals do, but in the safety of our loving arms. And if we can stay calm, move in close, and offer connection in these moments, we can offer our baby the opportunity to learn something very important, that there's steady support available to help them through their big feelings. And maybe they'll internalize this experience and carry it inside of them. And maybe this is what leads to the hidden gift of emotional resilience that they can carry with them their entire lives. So, if our baby's basic needs are met, our question as parents might shift from how do I make the crying stop to how do I stay present as my baby cries? Welcome to Self-Led Parenting Live. I'm Jacqueline Long, licensed marriage and family therapist and founder of Mindful Child and Family Therapy. Here we talk about parenting through the lens of internal family systems, or IFS, as well as mindfulness and relational healing. And I want to remind you, you don't have to be a perfect parent to be a deeply loving and deeply effective parent. All parts of you are welcome here, even the overwhelmed parts of you, especially those. Last week, we talked about what happens inside of us as parents when our babies cry, even after all their basic needs have been met. And that's important work to be exploring what happens inside of us as we hear our baby crying and maybe even suffering a little bit. And today, I'd like to focus on what might be happening inside the baby. So let's slow it down together. Imagine you're 2 or 3 months old. You've only been here for a few weeks. Everything is new. Light, sound, hunger, exhaustion, separation, big temperature changes. Your nervous system is still developing. You don't have words. You simply feel. And when the feeling gets big enough, you cry. Crying is one of the first ways you communicate your distress. One of the first ways you say, something big is happening inside me. Indeed, crying is one of the first, most natural reflexes your baby has. Crying is a natural response to the shock of entering an environment that's colder, louder, and brighter than the environment that they've been in. With that first cry, we celebrate that big breath into their lungs and their big, deep cry. We celebrate it as a sign of health. But for most people, that celebration of the cry ends with that very first one. But it's helpful to cry, to offload tension that the body's carrying about the hard thing that's happening inside. And this is where I think something very important can get missed. Many of us grew up believing that emotional health means getting rid of feelings. But what if emotional health develops differently? What if emotional health grows when feelings are met with calm, compassionate connection? Indeed, interpersonal neurobiologist Dan Siegel says that emotional regulation happens in relationship. Emotional regulation happens in relationship. So when your baby is crying in your arms and you stay curious and you listen, something bigger than the crying itself is likely happening. Your baby's learning what happens when they have a feeling. Do feelings make people leave? Do feelings overwhelm people? Do feelings overwhelm relationships? Should I start hiding my feelings? Or can I have a big feeling and stay in connection? And this is where I want to slow way down. Imagine a baby feeling overwhelmed, and imagine a parent holding them gently, breathing, staying present, gently rocking, but not to shush, just to be with. The feeling might still be there. The crying might still be there. But something even more important is happening. The baby's having a big feeling and is met with calm confidence. Having a big feeling and is met with compassionate curiosity. Having a big feeling and is staying in connection over and over and over again. And eventually, the nervous system begins to learn something profound. I can have a feeling and still be connected. I can feel overwhelmed and still be connected. I can feel scared and still be connected. I can feel sad and still be connected. Still be okay. Part of what your baby's learning isn't just how to calm down after having a big feeling. They're also learning what it feels like to have big feelings while staying connected to someone who cares about them. And that learning may stay with them for the rest of their life as a hidden gift they can carry inside. Because someday those same feelings will show up in friendships, in marriage, in parenting, in leadership, in every important relationship, including our relationship with ourselves. The ability to feel without losing connection with ourselves or others is one of the greatest gifts we can offer a child. It helps our baby to learn I can have a big feeling and I can still be held in love. And knowing this, I trust that I can have a big feeling and that everything will be okay, that I'm okay and things will be okay and I'll feel better again soon. In this way, by listening to our baby cry, we help our baby develop connection with themselves and deepen trust in their own emotional resilience. Fast forward 30 years, your child is sitting across from a spouse or a close friend, or perhaps they're sitting alone with their own feelings. And part of what they'll be drawing from inside is just about everything they learned about emotions in relationships. Can feelings be expressed? Can people stay connected when feelings show up? Can I stay connected to myself through this big feeling? We begin learning some of those lessons long before we have words for them. So it helps to give the message to our babies that feelings are just feelings. They're not emergencies to be fixed or solved. There's nothing wrong or broken when a big wave of feeling rises up. It's just a feeling moving through, and we can stay connected through them. Now, just briefly, let's look at what might be happening inside of the parent. The parent will likely have different parts of themselves that get activated while the baby cries, and that's completely normal. Most of us didn't have role models for this. Most of us weren't raised by parents who were able to stay calm, come close, and offer connection as our big, unpleasant feelings moved through us. And if we did, it would be a whole lot easier for us to offer our own calm, compassionate presence when our baby cries. That's the hidden gift. So I like to say, what's in the way is the way. On this journey of being present with our baby when they cry, it'll help us to discover what's in the way. What's in the way of staying calm, coming close, and offering connection when our baby cries. What's in the way will be a little different for all of us. Because the baby's learning, I can have a big feeling and stay connected, while the parent is discovering, I can stay connected to someone else's big, unpleasant feelings. Those are two different forms of growth and discovery happening simultaneously in that moment of listening. The baby is building trust and relationship. The parent is discovering their own capacity. And in IFS, this capacity isn't something that needs to be developed. This capacity is already there within us all. It can just get clouded over like clouds covering the sun. And just like the sun, our capacity to be with pain and suffering is always there inside of us. In IFS, we help people peel back the layers of clouds so we can bring healing to the wounds within us. These might be our own wounds, or these might be legacy burdens or cultural burdens, wounds that were handed down to us across the generations, wounds that we might have inherited from our families or from our cultures. And I know all of this is a lot, so I want to invite us to pause for a moment and maybe place a hand on your heart and simply notice, what happens inside of me when someone I love is hurting? What happens inside of me when my baby is crying? Is there a part of me that wants to fix it? If so, where do I find this part in or around my body? Can I just be with this part of me for a moment that wants to fix or change or solve? Can I offer it just a little warmth, a little tenderness? And can I thank this part for trying to help the best way it knows how? And then just see if this part of you, which we might call a fixing part or a caretaking part, just see if this part might be willing to move into a witnessing role for a moment. So it can witness you, your deep, wise, loving, capital S self. So it can witness you simply being with your baby as she cries. And just notice, what would it feel like to simply stay close and be a compassionate witness to the suffering, even just for 60 seconds? Not solving, not fixing, not making feelings go away, just staying close with a non-fixing, non-abandoning, compassionate presence. Take as much time as you need with this, and feel free to put the video on pause. When you're ready, you can gently bring your attention back into the outside. And when you're ready to move on, I'll read a letter written from the perspective of capital S self energy to the caretaker part of us as a parent when our baby cries. Dear caretaker part, I know how much you love this baby. I know how quickly you spring into action. The moment you hear crying, you begin searching for solutions. You want relief. You want peace. You want reassurance that everything is okay. I understand, and I appreciate how deeply you care. But there's something I'd like you to know. Not every feeling needs to disappear immediately. Sometimes feelings need to be witnessed. Sometimes feelings need connection. Sometimes feelings need someone willing to stay. And that's something we can offer together. You don't have to carry the entire responsibility for making every feeling go away. You can rest beside me. You can breathe next to me. You can trust that connection itself is helping. So when our baby cries, please know that I'll be here for you and I'll be with you. And your role is still important. You can still help a lot by being here with me and listening to our baby as she cries. And if that's too hard for you, you can just take a little break and I'll still be here for our baby and I'll listen. Love, your capital S self. Let's take a moment to let that letter land. And here are some key takeaways. Babies learn about feelings through relationship. Emotional resilience develops in connection with a well-regulated other. Staying present is often doing more than we realize. And the ability to feel big feelings and remain connected can become a lifelong gift, a family blessing. Indeed, every time you stay connected to your child through a difficult moment, you may be offering something much larger than comfort. You may be helping to shape their lifelong relationship with emotions, and thus with themselves. And that hidden gift can be passed down throughout the generations like a family blessing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing some of the most challenging, most rewarding, and most important work in the world, raising kids and being with their big feelings. And I'll see you next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific.